The law of one states some people chose disease to possibly end a carnation slightly earlier, or chose a disability to do their purpose. In theory, maybe we weren't supposed to have any disease, but once it occurred, the same souls chose disease or disability for certain purposes on Earth. Adam and Eve version as told by Archangel Michael. (499,980). Before the Common Era on Mars, the Council of Mars and Maldek were in the later fourth density consciousness and sent a portion of their consciousness group collective in the form of physical entities to help Earth evolve from its primitive state. Their collective was called Elohim and acted as a bridge of communication between the Mars-Maldek Council and the Neanderthals on Earth. These later density beings can choose to appear in any physical vehicle. The Elohim needed to transplant life plasma from the Neanderthal into their physical bodies in order to replicate Neanderthals so that it's familiar to them and not intimidate them. The Elohim chose the finest 69 males of their kind that signified the attainment of unity with the one infinite source. In exchange for their life plasma, they granted these chosen 138 Neanderthals, 69 women and 69 men, immortality by genetically modifying them in order to keep their age static after the age of 27, for most of these primitive Neanderthals 38,000 years ago. This transplant is what the Bible refers to as Eve was made out of Adam's rib. However, the true fact was lost over time and space. These Elohim were vegetarian because they understood that consuming second-density creatures would lead to the creation of a karmic collective in their life. These Elohim's first mission was to change Neanderthals from hunters into herders and agriculturalists by improving their mind, body, and genetic composition. This led to the creation of a small city named Dalmatia that was established in the Mesopotamian region near Turkey and Armenia. Dalmatia is a region in Croatia. This became the center for the Elohim to come in, change their forms, and connect back with their group collective. Dalmatia had been divided into 6 sections, and 9 subsections surrounded around this temple were 6 chambers. These Elohim beings were 3 stories tall and would conduct their interplanetary connection with their own group collective consciousness of the Council and download instructions as an educational headquarters. This educational university was established to teach spiritual knowledge to the Neanderthals. This started the evolution of the first known human-like species, and the whole planet started to evolve. These Elohim adopted Neanderthal children and took care of them. This was the first family consisting of a male, a female, and a child on Earth. This led other ancient Neanderthals also to create their own families, so this family idea spread across the whole planet and became human culture. The Elohims instructed the Neanderthals to interbreed, which led to the creation of children. The Elohim were also creators along with the Yahweh collective. Therefore, it is not just one single God. Channeled question about Adam and Eve. Catherine's higher self says Adam and Eve are also part of the archetypical cosmic understanding of events designed to encode guidance about the beginning stages of consciousness, entering into individualized upstreams of experience. They primarily existed in various dimensional realities. However, only for one timeline, they were the first beings, and they represent complex metaphors about the initiation of self-conscious mind/body/spirit complexes into the third density cycle of evolution currently being experienced on the Earth planet. Furthermore, the deeper truths can seem paradoxical and elusive when being conceptualized and translated through the languages of the Earth planet. We encourage Catherine to attune to the resonance core essence behind the vibratory sound complexes, rather than fixating on precise intellectual rendering. Therefore, it is important to focus on embodying the true emotional experience and learnings offered. We are the higher self of the entity, Catherine, and we shall now all leave you now, beloveds. Bye. Tree of Life by Archangel Michael. The Tree of Life is originally a later second-density physical vehicle crossbred from Maldek. This tree requires only oxygen to survive and doesn't need any soil, for it doesn't have any roots. It was planted in Dalmatia at the center of the altar of the Elohim. It had fruits resembling the apple, which was used to maintain immortality by these Elohims. The chosen 138 Neanderthals were forbidden to eat this fruit. If they ate the apple, they would age on Earth, due to atmospheric conditions damaging physical bodies with every breath of oxygen you take, yet it is vital. This is the cost that beings on Earth have to bear in order to progress through this density. The other Neanderthals, not genetically modified, would not be affected by eating the apple. This fruit only deactivated the genetically modified genes of the 138 Neanderthals and reversed their genetic engineering if they ate it. That's why the Bible said, if you eat from this tree, you will surely die, because then the genetically modified genes would be deactivated that would cause them to age normally again. Whereas if these 138 genetically modified Neanderthals didn't eat the apple, then their genetically modified genes would help them to stop aging after the age of 27. The Elohim were divided into 10 groups of 10 each, and each group had a spiritual mission: the Council of Physical Produce, the Board of Animal Herding, the Advisors on the Control of Predatory Animals, the Faculty on the Dissemination and Conservation of Knowledge, the Commission on Industry and Trade, the College of Spirituality and Learning, the Guardians of Vitality and Health, the Council on Science and Arts, the Governors of Advanced Humanoid Tribal Relations, and the Supreme Council of Humanoid Coordination and Racial Cooperation was run by Elohim member Van der Konin. Lake Van in Armenia is named after this Elohim member even today. The secret to successfully evolving beings on Earth is moderately and steadily. It can't be too fast, or it will cause disintegration of experience. It can't be too slow, or people will become stuck in the same density of consciousness. The Elohim spent the next 290,000 years slowly evolving these very primitive humans. The more ignorant beings take a longer amount of time to evolve after 290,000 years. Other planets in another galaxy at that time space decided to rebel and become self-service-oriented and negatively polarized in the later fourth density negative polarity. Lucifer's social memory complex had a philosophy of selfishness, enslavement of others, and assertiveness. At first they thought they were doing the right things, but by the time they realized they were wrong, they had lost all sanity and remained evil to the end. They successfully tricked 36 planets into rebelling with them, which included Earth. Elohim had worked with these Lucifer beings in the past, and Lucifer beings used this old friendship by manipulating some Elohim entities into joining forces with Lucifer's negative self-service agenda. The Elohim entities that joined the negatively oriented entities were stripped of all positive polarity and influence on Earth, but remained in hidden realms where they became known as negatively oriented devils due to their negative agenda and negative polarization. The Elohim that were left on Earth immediately declared themselves as the caretakers of Earth. Earth wasn't quarantined at this time and had a system to broadcast universal messages into Earth so the masses would know what was going on around the universe. Lucifer entities and some Elohims tried to use this news to broadcast to manipulate the masses of humans on Earth into following their negatively polarized path. This caused the shutdown of this broadcast center and put Earth into quarantine by positively oriented Elohim. The Universal Council of Planets decided to let Lucifer's rebellion happen to some extent in this part of the universe, in order to prevent other parts of the universe from being infiltrated by this negative agenda. Therefore, much more would be gained than would be lost in the long run.